I was looking at my thumbnail here, and it made me think of like it gave me like thoughts of my own. It's kind of like some comedy notes I have on my other page of comedy notes too. It's like, and I try to explain to people, I am legit like middle ground. Like there's a middle ground. Like, I'm not for any fucking extremes. I don't know why people just can't use common sense. I really believe that everyone should be able to have a gun wherever they fucking please to protect themselves or their family. And I believe that there should be pound bags of marijuana in the fucking grocery stores. And what else did I put here? I know I did middle of the road. Guns and marijuana, middle of the road. I say the same thing to fucking mentally confused fucking trans people as I say to fucking people who fucking grew up and went to Catholic school. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks. Sorry your brain got fucked with, man. Let's help. And that's not to insult all Catholics either, because there's some really great Catholics. It's like Ravi Zacharias said it best. He's like, sometimes you could have someone who's a really bad Catholic and a good Christian, or a really good Catholic and a bad Christian. You know what I mean? Shit like that. And I think the same that goes for all Christians. From Jehovah's Witnesses to Baptists to whatever. Like, maybe they're a good Baptist and a shitty Christian, but maybe they're bad Baptist and a good Christian. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, it's the leading cause of why people are most non-believers and stuff, is because somebody burned them, made them feel bad. I mean, or didn't have an answer for them, and just they brushed them off and just assumed they were stupid or whatever. But and there was like one of my notes in my new notes. I was like, okay, do the middle of the road trans and Catholic joke, do the middle of the road guns and marijuana, and then but say like, I'm middle of the road, I'm blah blah blah, I'm blah blah blah, I'm middle of the road, I'm for blah 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 blah, I'm middle of the road, and then go into my objective reality cat analogy that I like. Because I don't know why people want to deny and reject that there is a world where we can all get the fuck along. It really does exist. But not in your fucking fantasy utopia way. Like, there still has to be law and order. There still has to be a way to know, like, okay, when people get out of hand, we gotta be able to stop them. Like, there has to be a logical, smart system. There's People do not understand that greed and envy will always exist. Someone will always want more, and someone will always be jealous. It just fucking is the way it is. We wish it was all sunshine and shining rainbows, but it just isn't going to be. We have to try to do it as smart as we can, but that doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. There's going to be flaws. There's going to be corruption. There's going to be people taking advantage of the system. We just have to do our best to be able to exploit those who are taking advantage of the system and make it aware to people, so they know, okay, this person is or isn't putting their money where their mouth is, and they actually are or aren't being as altruistic as they say they're actually being. And then we can all judge for ourselves who we do or do not want to be involved with based off of actual merit and what they're saying and doing, and not just like what people are assuming, pretending, and demonizing people about. It's like we'll actually be able to see, know on their own. Like all these NGOs and these non-profit organizations that aren't actually non-profit organizations, because they are banking all kinds of money for themselves. So we'll get to all that stuff at some point, I'm sure. We need to go back to this. Yeah, it's you don't have to be. And I realize coming out here, you know what I mean, the whole niche market thing. I mentioned that and talked about that before too. Don't have to be funny to everyone. In fact, that's what makes shit even more funny to people with a sense of humor. When people are too stupid or uptight to get or laugh about something. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you say something that's, like, actually, like, kind of charming or witty or, like, intellectually, like, stimulating or funny, and it goes over with people and they like it. But, like, there's the other people who are just like, oh, I don't get it. I mean, that makes it even more funny, like, when there's people that don't get it. And it's I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't know. Like, it just sometimes the absence of laughter is fucking way more hilarious. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because I find the beauty and humor and everything, and I can see and find where there's a joke and everything. Like, I wrote down a joke earlier. Like, I was trying to explain to somebody. I know that I think I said this in one of the other videos the other day. I know there's a joke in there with the Charlie Sheen and Charlie Kirk situation. Joe Rogan was interviewing interviewing Charlie Sheen at the same time that news broke out, and Charlie Sheen is actually stepping up and doing some really cool things and being very nice and humorous and cheering a lot of people up through these hard times. He was just on Gutfeld last night, and he was very charming and very funny and very cool, and I really believe him, and I want to believe him. But he really does seem legit, clear-minded, and like he's just older, and he's been through it, and he's got a little wisdom, and he's still charming and witty, and he's on the page and on the ball, and he was killing it the other night. On top of his celebrity status as it is already, but even to have the balls and the bearing to be on Fox and everything, and just say fuck it and do it, and just be himself and witty and charming. I mean, he was killing it. Like, it was like on top of his status, like he was doing stuff that was like really, really funny on top of, you know what I mean? Like, if any other person did the jokes that he did, and the lines that he said, they would have gotten big pops. But he just got that much of a bigger pop because he's Charlie Sheen, But it's really cool, and it's we lost one Charlie, but we got another Charlie back, kind of thing. And that'd be really cool to see his whole story. I wonder what it says in his book. Be cool to see 2.5 Men again, or he gets the late night show. He takes Kimmel spot. That's what he was kind of poking at, like hinting at. Like, we could do that. And oh my god, that'd be hilarious. But that's always beautiful when you find out, like, oh my god, somebody found more to life, more of a meaning to life, and it's always even that much better when they find God and understand God and have a relationship with Jesus in the real way too. I think that's really, really cool. And my next note is like I watch a lot of Stooges. Back in the day when they're openly racist and happy, about being racist and Democrats. When they were open about their racism, they always have the black people on the shows every once in a while here and there, and they're either not talking right or saying something silly, or like or they're like a real African witch doctor. No, you get born, give me, or like the black woman doesn't know how to read right. So it's like, oh, this must mean exterminate, right? Like the lady wanted a escort. And he's go, oh, that must be an escort. He calls the exterminator instead of escort, But the Chinese people, like, I think they always, no matter what, they do the buck tooth thing to be like, okay, this guy's a Chinese guy, right? This guy's a Chinese guy, so we're gonna give him the buck teeth, and he's going, oh, so. Or the Japanese guy, it was Japanese a lot at that time because they were the ones that war with World War II, and they were the ones helping out the commies and blah blah blah. Pearl Harbor, all that shit. So they always have the Japanese guy, oh, so, but it's a white guy in makeup with shit, and the buck teeth. They always have the fake buck teeth. But even when they actually do have actual Asian people on the set, they still make them wear the fucking buck teeth. It's fucking hilarious. Like, there's this one episode, I'm more than certain it's actual fucking Asian dudes. And I can't remember, I think maybe they were escapees or something like that or whatever, but the boys, they're in this building, and then like they're like moving pumpkins around, and they're moving pumpkins around, but I don't know, I forget the episode like off the top, like every part of it off the top of my head, like reasons why they were there, but they're hiding from them and fighting them and this and that, and they're trying to stop them, but they had the buck teeth. Like, I mean, there's why? Yeah, that much emphasis, so you really know they're Asian. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever actually met a buck tooth Asian in my life either. But I don't know. I guess like I've seen a couple cooks back in the kitchen a couple times that are a little shaw, but I definitely haven't seen many Japanese that look like that. I don't know. Everybody's got weird looking people in their cultures all around the world. We're all silly, we're all weird, we're all peculiar and strange in some way or one way or another. I wrote down a Nick DiPaolo quote. I love it. It's I'm not a bigot. I'm a bigot, not a racist. There's a difference. You know, and that's what I'm saying, man. What happened? We were able to say shit to each other. I've been trying to tell this joke recently about how one of my cousin's exes was an Indian, and she tried to say all white people smell like pork, and you know, I go off on this tangent about like how we don't really always eat pork all the time. Pork just kind of just happens, but I'm sure there's white guys that just eat ham and cheese all the time, and I'm sure there's black guys that just eat ham and cheese all the time. But what fucking difference does it make? You know, it's like don't worry, the joke gets more racist. It's like, and then um, but yeah, I talk about like with white people. You know, it just happens. Sometimes you have a ham sandwich. Oh, I haven't had ribs in a while. Blah blah blah. But she wants to talk. Maybe I should put the one joke before the other joke, or tell her joke, the other joke about her earlier. I don't know. But there's two more segments where I speak about a situation where I'm working at yeah, I'll talk about the Jews in the Legion and the pigs getting thrown off the thing. I'll talk about how it's got to be a huge insult and slap in the face that for Easter dinner that you know Christians took over the Passover with Easter to have in America ham for dinner. You know, is like the main meal. You know, for Easter, uh, and and I talk about this instance when I was. Oh, it's okay for her to say it, but I remember distinctly this time working at the bowling center and these people walking up to the counter, and I could smell them before I saw them, and it was clearly curry, and they were a beautiful Indian family. I might have told this joke the other day when because like you start to say these things often so many times in different ways, and you're like, did I already say this already? I mean, because that's what the whole thing is. It makes you feel crazier already because you already feel like an old guy who's told the same stories over and over again, and now you're being told and encouraged to tell the same stories over and over and over again. Kind of messes with your head a little bit. It's like, have I said this one already? I don't know. I'm that silly dumb. I don't know. Can and would and should and could. Can and could and would have should. Man, I was really thinking deep that day. Can and would and should and could. Can and could and would have should. You know, I mean, dude, I think, trying not to live without regrets. I think that might be what I was getting to there, but it's just like, can and would, should and could. Can and could, would have should. And I see that in a lot of people too. It's like, yo, it's right there. You can do this. Why don't you just do it? All you gotta do is take like 2 more steps, or just stick your fucking hand out. You know what I mean? And like this goal would have been achieved, but so many people want to stop too soon before they actually finish the goal or make the achievement or get their blessing, and just hang out a little longer, hold on before it feels like you just can't hold on to hope anymore. And something will give. I mean, that's what we're praying on now. But I mean, we're gonna have to get like serious, you know. Oh, I mean, like, I already am serious, but I mean, we might have to like, I don't know, maybe find a way to get like, I don't know. I have to probably do it in a couple months if things don't pop off or something doesn't happen. I can collaborate or do something with somebody else. Possibly 3, maybe 4 months. Might have to really like find something that pays well during the day, work normal hours, try to sleep, be a normal person, and then push myself on Sundays and Mondays and our other days, you know, to try to get on shows and do things and perform. Yeah, like I said, I go off on tangents in my notes sometimes too, because there's some things I just want to recall or remember. I've written diatribes on my Facebook about this and that and whatnot too, but I'm not partaking in other people's fantasies. just am not. I get it. I said it before. You do you. I get it. It doesn't mean I have to fucking play along with you. I'm not. I'll call you by whatever name you want me to call you by, because names are one thing. Everybody has a nickname. Everybody can go by whatever name they want to say is their name, because they feel like that's how they are recognized most well, or most easiest, or understood, or whatever. If I know you're a dude, I'm not gonna call you a lady. Period. I'm not playing that game. I'm not. Not a disrespect, or it's disrespectful to me to try to force me to lie. You can't force me to fucking say something that I know and for a fact is not fucking true. I'm not playing that game. Period. You can LARP and fantasize as much as you want in the real world. That doesn't mean I have to play the fuck along with you. I like LARPing and I like fucking role playing and fantasy too, time to time, but know if you're going to act and behave a certain way in public and in around people, you're going to get treated a certain way. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get looked at. I used to be a punk with fucking spiked hair and fucking multicolored hair. I welcomed it. I knew I was going to get attention. I was drawing attention to myself. You understood that. You were a freak. You were proud of it. You were like, what of it? I don't give a shit. You don't go around fucking saying, now I demand you say and do this because I look and think and feel this way, so you have to think and feel this way too. It's contentious. That's constantly trying to battle with people. That's where your minds are at too. It's like Tom Shalhoub said, you're always at fucking war with everything. You don't want to debate. You want to negotiate terms. You want to be like, no, we all have to come to the same conclusion at the end of this, or else. Like, you don't understand how fucking outrageous you are. Like, you are being the fascist, and you don't even understand it. It's hilarious. Raised with one of them TVs. Like I said, I listen to myself and stuff, and I hear, like, when I say certain things in certain ways, and I can actually not say them in those certain ways sometimes. I can actually enunciate and speak more clearly. And I've always made that effort to be as clear and articulate as possible. Except for when I am, like, you've obviously seen me, like, I'm trying to enunciate and to show what I can do right now. But obviously you see how I can sit here and I can talk and I can blah, 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 blah. But I don't really have, like, an accent. Especially from where I come from. Like, if you heard, like, the people that I grew up with, they don't all sound like I do. Some of them do, or they have, like, their own vernacular and stuff. And it's because, like, we grew up in the Sussex County area, but we were also just influenced by all these different things in pop culture and media. And we're, like, at this bisection of America where it's a country right here and city up here, more conservative down here, more liberal up here. But it was there. I grew up in a Democrat family in the South. And it just was what it was. Where was I going? And yeah, that's right. Because and people actually thought I grew up in the city, because not only did I go to school and my teachers would explain, oh, some people say roof and some people say roof, and they like explaining and articulating words in that aspect and sense when learning how to read and write. But I was one of the fortunate kids that had one of them TVs growing up. And I had plenty of rich friends, and other kids that, had TVs, no problem. But it was like a big deal in our family that Papa made $200 a week and raised a family of 4. Took care of his wife and his 3 children. He got one of them big old fucking that you use as a fucking table after a while, fucking televisions are made out of wood and shit and everything. And eventually you get the other one that sits on top of it and stuff. But I grew up watching just all that stuff, from Murder, She Wrote with my mom, and wrestling would pop up, and all the up at late night shows and horror movies. And I watched RoboCop before I was in kindergarten. I love Wizard of Oz and all this stuff. It's just like, just inundated. Fucking everything on Nickelodeon. Fucking you can't do that on television was like a huge influence, and like Wienerville and just all these fucking things. I remembered all throughout my life, from Nick to Nick Jr. and the PBS stuff and the just everything, man. And so they were raising me too. Like that's what I was hearing more than my grandmother in the other room. I was hearing people speak phonetically and articulately, or Canadian or Australian or British or you know what I mean. All these different accents from all over the world. Boom, 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 boom. This little kid just click, 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 click. I wasn't even allowed to watch a lot of stuff. I couldn't turn it to channel 17, because that was MTV, but like after a while I could, but like, when you're young, it's like, well, I go to my cousin's house and spend the night. He's allowed to watch it, so I would just watch it with him, and we can stay up late and watch crazy stuff on HBO. But, and I never really read a lot of books, but I've read a lot, and like, I like to read out loud and read lines, and like I've read it for church and stuff. And if you read King James and get used to reading King James and start to learn and understand what they're actually saying when you're reading King James, and you can read it out loud in front of people and stuff like that. I mean, regular English, like modern English, is like super easy. Like it's like I might get a little tongue tied every once in a while, or like I just my stretch and work my mouth out a little more and exercise a little more. I'm drinking my hot honey and more often to keep my throat better, and just gotta do the mouth exercise and not be so lazy. But I don't know. Always try to smile, but it's hard, man. Some of these times, man. It's hard to be a clown sometimes, man. Hard to be a clown. Gotta be sad every once in a while. Oh shit, we're 22 minutes in. I was about to jump into the next damn thing. Next damn thing says, fatter, funnier, glasses smarter. I'll have to figure that one out. I know part of it, and I know the other part of it. I just got to think about it a little more. But thank you so much for your time and patience with me. If anybody's even deciding to watch out there, I mean, hopefully somebody will eventually. People will figure out maybe who I am eventually and be like, oh, we'll check them out. They'll probably watch one video and be like, oh, that's stupid, that sucks, and never watch anything else. But I don't know. Hopefully they start getting in, to liking some of the stuff or seeing me out and be like, oh, I'd like to hear more what he has to say. If not, well, it is what it is. I'm going to keep trying to make content and hopefully, I don't know, it pans out, one way or the other. I got to get better at making clips and stuff, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I could... But we're gonna stop. I'm gonna switch over to playing some video games, just for a little while. I'm gonna really try to go to bed early so I can cook. All right. I keep running my mouth. Thank you so much for your time.